we can go into the Mariners now a little bit. I know Julio got hurt, but I know that they said it was negative, so maybe the center fielder, whoever filled in there,
I think it was
that's my
Robles.
guess.
Or no, he didn't fill in. When he got, well, I guess he technically did. He was the left fielder.
He
And
slid
then
over.
Julio went into left field, obviously hurt his ankle.
Yeah.
And then that's when Robles came. But
Yeah.
it wasn't that. Maybe it was. That could have been it because that was a longer. He was down for quite a while, actually.
They said he was down for a
think
while,
about
and
it.
then from what I have read and saw everything came back negative.
Yeah. He is on. I think he is technically
I don't
on
think
the injured
he'll.
list.
Yeah, I don't think he's
But-
going to play for the next couple of days. It sounds like they're going to.
I feel like he'll be out for a week.
Yeah, it says sprains ankle after crashing into the wall, so
Yeah.
he'll probably be out for, I don't know, maybe a 10-day. They said right now he's day to day, so
yeah,
I would say probably, to be safe, maybe a week.
Yeah.
I mean, a sprained ankle is a sprained ankle, depending on how bad it is. If it's high ankle, it's worse. You know, it can be kind of tough. But you want to talk about the disappointing team that is the Mariners?
Yeah, like you said, we lost a 10-game lead in 24 games.
Nope, fast as ever. I mean, I'm not shocked when.
No, but
I mean, and I hate the whole, there's still more games down the line. There's more games. It's like we've talked about with Logan Gilbert. They moved the rotation around so that he'll pitch it's the second to last series of the season against the Astros, and I'm like,
gotta win now.
You gotta keep this lead. You gotta keep working on whatever. We are technically tied for first.
Yeah,
and I think that means we're still like 2 games out of the wild card. I don't think either of us are.
Honestly,
in the wild
I wouldn't
card.
be surprised.
So, I mean, Saturday's game was tough because you had 2 hits. You had Mitch Garver got robbed in left field by a great diving catch.
2.5 if we were tonight. Yeah, 2.5 games out.
And then in right field there was, I can't remember. I think it was Julio almost hit a second home run on Saturday and it got robbed. So there was kind of like it was in reach. The one thing I told my dad, I was at that game on Saturday. I was at Friday's game, but I wasn't paying as much attention because I was hanging out with a bunch of friends. Saturday's game was in reach, and I told my dad, I go, yeah, we lost. We at least put the bat on the ball a lot. I think we did have like 9 strikeouts like we basically had now. We're going to break that record if you haven't seen that.
I would not be surprised.
We are 1,000 strikeouts already over the season, and the record's 1,600, I think.
Good thing we spent the whole offseason improving our strikeout rate.
Heck yeah. But I told him, I was like, yeah, we did hit it directly towards people, but we were hitting the ball hard, and it was going the right place.
Do you remember Logan Morrison?
Yes.
That's what he did.
Yeah,
So
he just
for a
whacked
long
the
time,
ball
all
so
he did
hard.
is hit right at people.
Yeah.
And he started probably like the 2014 season.
Yeah.
But then he had ended up having a good year. So I mean,
Yep.
maybe it's the start of something good. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I did like the Julio Victor Robles 2-3 batting order.
Yeah.
JP needs to go to the bottom of the order.
Yeah.
I don't know why he's still leading off. He has not been very good lately. They did move the order all over the place that game. They did at that point have Ty France batting last, who is now technically still on the team, but technically not going to be on the team. We can talk about that in a second.
I say they should. I mean, have they had, what is his name? Rojas? Has he let off again? Ever since he did good?
No, I think ever since JP's come back, he hasn't.
Yeah,
And it's frustrating because I know there's probably splits of left righties, but
I'm sure there is.
I'm one of those guys where
they're getting freaking hits. Put them in.
First off, yeah, they're professionals. They got to be able to hit both sides. The only way to be able to hit both sides is to see both sides. You have to have a consistent lineup, and I think that was one of my biggest points with the Mariners coming down the stretch. Is you have to find. I mean, your outfield needs to stay the same at minimum. I mean, I can understand with the second baseman our issue with Polanco. He's not. I mean, he hit a couple home runs this weekend, but he's not been great this year at all. Rojas needs to play pretty much every day at third. Dylan Moore is Dylan Moore, but he does not need to be starting. Cal and Mitch can rotate catcher. That's fine. I don't know. That's whatever. First baseman, it sounds like it's going to be Locklear now, or I guess you could still throw Rayleigh there if you need to.
Yeah, I'd probably prefer Locklear, just have
100%
in the outfield.
Because I would rather, in all honesty, I would rather the outfield be Robles in right, Julio in center, and Raleigh in left. I think that gives you the best bats you've had for the year. I mean, Robles has been on fire lately. Julio's been on fire lately. Obviously, it's not saying much because
250's on fire.
Yeah, I mean, he's batting like 265. But I just think, to me, having that type of consistency just helps the team.
Oh, yeah.
It gives you the right type of thing. And then it also forces, you look at it and you go, Clase and Bliss and these young guys, you go, okay, this is the lineup. If you want to break into it, when you get your chance, you need, pull a Tom Brady. When you get your shot, you need to
Take it.
literally grab it as hard as you can and go with it. Because we've made some moves. Obviously, I think we're getting ready for maybe a trade. I don't know. Bauman, thank goodness, is gone. Crazy. He was traded twice in a season. That's wild.
That is kind of insane.
He was traded. It says on March 22nd. I thought it was just for cash, but I guess it was along with Michael Perez from us for a minor league catcher.
Did we trade Blake Hunt?
No, for him. We brought Blake Hunt. Oh no, maybe
we sent Blake Hunt.
So was traded. Oh, this is the Orioles trade. That's why I'm like reading this so confusing. Yeah. So if I go, okay, because I thought it was just cash. So it says Bauman. He was traded. So Blake Hunt went to the Orioles.
Yep.
Now I see what you're saying. So less than 2 months he was traded away. The Mariners traded away him for cash. Okay, it was just for cash. That's what I thought. So the Mariners traded him to open up a spot on the roster for Locklear. Because because technically, because Ty is still on roster and he will be at every game. He's not going to play because you don't want him to get injured, but he can if he wants to. Obviously, I bet you they could say,
I doubt it.
If you want to go home and take BP at home and hang out with your kids and go with your wife to do whatever, totally go talk to your agent, whatever, I get it. I think that he will get picked up. Obviously, 2022, 2 years ago, he was an all-star. Last year, he got injured. It was his wrist or something.
I think it's because he got. Remember when he kept getting hit?
Well, that was this year. He broke the record for the most. He officially broke it for being the most Mariner hit by pitches.
It's impressive.
I think I don't know what got into his head, but he's not been good for the past 2 years. Literally, he peaked and kind of went downhill. Last year, I don't know what his exact average and splits were, but I know he was better than this year.
Oh yeah, I mean he hasn't been bad. He's been kind of your league average first baseman, honestly.
Yeah, that's probably the best way to put it. What is he batting? Like 220? He started the year out so hot.
All-star year, bat 274.
Yeah.
He had 20 home runs, 83 RBIs. Pretty much exactly what you want.
Yeah, that's great. That's a perfect first baseman.
And then you go 2023, he goes down to 250. Not terrible.
That's actually not that bad. I thought it was worse than that.
12 home runs, 58 RBIs. So power numbers down, average
power
down.
Was so down.
On base percentage down, slugging way down. Slugging was insane.
Yeah.
But then this year, obviously, 223, 8 home runs, 31 RBIs. On base percentage down, slugging down.
Well, I think
down.
They said since May, since May something, he's the 6th worst player in baseball with based off of WAR.
He's been really bad.
I think
he has a 0 WAR this year. So he's basically been ineffective.
Literally, probably because of yesterday. Because I think before yesterday was down. So let's kind of go over that. Let's think of a couple places where you think he might land and why.
Yeah.
I have 3 teams, all in the NL.
Yeah, I have 2. It just depends. So I potentially the Red Sox. I know they do have Dominic Smith, and he's been fine.
Yeah, he's been good.
Obviously, Tristan Casas would be the starter. He's pretty solid. On the IL for 60 days right now, so not going to come back in a while. And then Smith is kind of a journeyman. I mean, he's been around a couple teams. He's okay. Like I said, he's hitting I think he was either 260 or 230.
Yeah.
Nothing special. And then I could see it just because they're kind of right on that cusp. They're in a really good division, but they're still playing very well. They're in the wild card right now, I'm pretty sure. And they still have a shot at that division. And honestly, if you get Ty France 2 years ago, that's a good player.
Yeah, it's the same type of aspect of. I mean, with Ty, I think is the same thing with Victor Robles.
Yeah,
he's got potential to be good. He can be good. It might just take a new situation. I don't know if Robles will turn out to be an all-star for us, but I think a new situation for anyone can boost someone.
I mean, he's definitely a good outfielder. I love him as a 4th outfielder.
He's been playing fine for us so far. Where I think if he continues to do what he's done for the next couple of weeks, he's probably earned a starting spot. I mean, he has the potential. It's whether or not you can get it out of him. So it's the same thing with Ty. But so you take Boston. Who else?
Another team. I don't even really want to talk about them.
The Houston Astros probably. Yeah, that's a weird one. Singleton has not been bad. But I can understand.
It's not even more that they need them, but it's like if they have that little edge.
It's just a middle finger.
Just going to kind of pick at the Mariners.
Yep, that's fair.
But I'd say the Red Sox or the Astros. There's other teams, but just I don't know.
So it's interesting because I didn't pick either of them. I can understand both of them. I actually picked the Cubs, and I know the Cubs have Michael Busch, who's
They have
been
him
good.
and Bellinger, but I don't know if Bellinger really even plays first.
I think he DHs most, but both of them have been trade targets for a lot of teams. So I honestly think both of them might leave. And I think that they might just be like, okay, we need an MLB ready first baseman. I think Ty's a free agent at the end of the year anyway. So I don't think
let me check.
I don't think it's I got it, contract. I don't think because he's making he's making $6 million this year either.
It really isn't that bad.
No, not for your everyday.
This is his last year. He's a free agent.
So he has arbitration 3. He has an arbitration year.
Yep.
If they obviously it doesn't matter because he'll just be a free agent probably because unless someone signs him to the end of the year. So you do technically get him for a year and maybe some change, a little bit, whatever you get for half a year and then maybe a year. I think Michael Busch gets traded. He's been playing good. He's been 267 with 12 home runs, 36 RBIs. He's been good. He's only 26.
Okay. The only thing that I would argue potentially is they might want to keep him.
Yeah, because he's young, of course.
I would, if that was Cody Bellinger, I could see it getting traded a lot more. But if they do trade Busch, it's going to be for a lot more because of his age.
Sure, and he's not even hit pre-arb, so he's got years under his belt. I just think he's going to be. It's like people are going to try and get him. I just think he's going to be. Why wouldn't it be? So Cubs won. The other one was Pittsburgh. They're like I said, they're a half game out. Will Craig, I don't know who he is.
Honestly, I have no idea.
He's batting .217 with 1 home run.
That's a problem.
Yeah, and even if you kind of look into like Pittsburgh's first basemen, there's I don't know if someone's injured that I'm not seeing and I don't know about, but there's like no one there. And I'm like, okay. It literally says their first basemen are you have Rowdy Tellez.
Yeah.
Who's like
he's not bad. He's been good in the past.
Yeah, but is he good now? And then
he hasn't been.
This guy does not fit Connor Joe. He's just the Asian gentleman.
Guy. Yeah.
He's batting .240 he's fine. But I kind of feel like I was batting .242. So they one of them must be DH and they switch off. I just think that Pittsburgh would take a risk on taking someone to just give them that, like the Astros, give them that edge. Obviously I know Pittsburgh has the money to spend if they want to. They can go for it. But yeah, I'm not too sure. The other ones that I had were San Francisco. Wilmer Flores is batting .207, 4 home runs and 213 at-bats. I know Lamonte Wade has been in and out. He's been injured a couple times. He's kind of doing his own thing. He is batting .305 and 177 at-bats. But again, would you rather have Wilmer Flores? I don't know what his contract looks like. I think that any of those 3 teams might take him just to try to put themselves over the edge.
Yeah.
And then obviously
he's a veteran too. He did go to the playoffs. And we did okay.
He was fine in the playoffs.
He's been fine. Like he's obviously a good presence in the clubhouse. Like there's no complaints.
Yeah, there's
about
nothing.
him.
Yeah, no issues with him.
So
I also think the other team is actually where he came from. I think San Diego. Maybe. Now I know they've moved Arraez over to first, but move him back. He's a second baseman. You can throw him back there, or you're not going to move him at third.
Because they have Cronenworth, I think, playing second. Obviously, Machado at third.
And then Quam, or whatever, not Quam.
No, Bogarts playing short.
Oh, yeah, it's Bogarts. I mean, yeah. So maybe that's what it is with Kim.
Is still somewhere.
That's what I was going to say. He must be playing outfield. So I don't know, but again, he could be your backup. There's enough teams out there that would like him as a backup. It's just whether he wants to take himself as a backup. Yeah. He could also, not that he's really a power hitter, he could DH. I think there's going to be more interest than you think. And then obviously if he clears everything because of service time, he can reject being sent down, which just makes him a free agent.
It's weird. I never even heard of that.
Really? So it's just like a seniority thing.
Yeah.
So basically he would just not be, he could just say, I don't want to go. He's like, they would be like, do you want to go to Tacoma? And he'd go, no. And they go, okay, well now you're a free agent. And now he can go sign wherever he wants. So, there's going to be teams that might take that risk and say, I don't want to pay him $6. And I don't know how that works with, I think the Mariners have to buy him out. I don't know if they have to pay him his contract. I don't know how it works because obviously this seems to be a move to get Locklear up. Obviously they had to trade Bauman away to open up that spot, but they got Locklear up, who was playing pretty decent while Ty was hurt.
Mm-hmm.
It clears up some money, obviously, which the Mariners seem to have none of.
Shocker.
So dumb. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I would be more shocked, I think, if he cleared waivers, then got picked up by someone.
Yeah.
And I think there's enough teams like the Astros, like you said, that just be like,
yeah,
gotcha.
Yeah.
And the Astros tend to make players. The Astros have done a really good job of turning players around. Same with
Except
the Dodgers.
for Jose Abreu, just
that one doesn't work.
Out of nowhere.
And the Dodgers. The Dodgers do a good job. And I don't know who's the Dodgers first baseman. Not that
Freddie
I think
Freeman.
So obviously they're going to take Ty France because why wouldn't they? Duh, Kellen. That's an interesting take. Forgot about that guy.
The one
He might
other
be a Hall
thing
of
I
Famer.
could see, if he gets traded, it just depends on their situation, is the Mets. Honestly, just to fill a gap.
Pete gets,
But
I don't think they trade anyone right now.
No, not right now. That's what I mean. If that is to happen.
Yeah, I don't know. Obviously, like we've said, the trade deadline is 8 days away. It's a week from tomorrow. There has not been any.
Nothing.
It's boring. Yeah, I keep updating it all the time to see if there's anything. And all it has is rank the top 25 players of the 21st century, which we'll probably do at some point now that I just saw it because it just dropped 13 hours ago.
One other thing. This is kind of just a hypothetical, obviously, because this is never going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But so we dropped Ty France, right? What about JP and Polanco? Because those were the three that have severely underperformed. Would you have still dropped Ty France?
If what? What do you mean?
If you could choose.
To all three of them?
You could choose between the three.
Polanco's gone.
So that's what I thought.
Because Polanco he's not.
I feel like Ty France has been better than Polanco.
Yeah, but I don't think
there's more money.
My guess is, I was going to say there's probably some weird thing where there's got to be something more to it, obviously. Because you can't. That'd be such a cheat code if you could just put players on waivers and they just clear and then you don't have to pay them. Like you'd probably still have to buy him out for the year, which the Mariners are not going to want to do. I think that I think if you could get rid of any of them, it'd be Polanco. I think JP stays just because he's kind of your captain. He's your guy. But again, he just
hasn't been good.
Seattle gets way too attached to players. I remember when I can't remember. I texted my friends, my group of guys, whatever, and said France is gone, and they were like, "Oh, that's I loved him. That sucks." And I'm like, I get it, but you also can't get attached. Look at Russell Wilson with the Seahawks. It was probably
made a great move.
It was probably the best thing the Seahawks did was move on from him. Yes, now you're stuck with Geno Smith for a couple of years, but you can't get attached to these players to expect to be good. You look at all these other teams that are successful, the Celtics, or the Bostons of the world, the LAs of the world, the Texases of the world, these big cities that pay to win these games. They look at it and they go, look at Boston, KG, Paul Pierce, like the cornerstone of the 2008 championship.
Shipped to
Brooklyn, bunch of picks. Was that sad? Yeah. Is Boston supposed to be bad for next week? Yeah. But now look at them.
It helped them win a championship.
That's how you have to rebuild. That's how you have to do things. So obviously their trade value is not very good right now, which is a bummer for us because I think if it was higher, you probably would see one or two of them gone. But you can't get attached to him. Ty France has been a loyal servant for 4 years. He was solid for us for that 1 year. The other years he was kind of average. He was okay. Fine. He was whatever. But to win a championship, you have to go get a better player than Ty France.
Yeah.
Your infield of in all honesty, Ty France, Polanco, JP, and Rojas, that's not good enough.
That might be one of the worst in the MLB.
It's not a good enough. But literally when your best player has been Rojas, who no one expected, who's batting whatever, 250-ish,
That's bad.
That's a terrible infield. Now, defensively, they are okay, but that's not a good. And even you look at the outfield and you go, Julio is obviously perfectly fine. He's a cornerstone player. He's going to be good in his career. Mitch Haniger, no. Canzone, probably not. Robles, meh.
He's been fine.
He can be okay.
Yeah.
Rayleigh has been okay this year. He was okay last year. You look at some of these players that it's like
Garver's been horrible.
Yeah, and it's like even Cal Raleigh. I love Cal Raleigh. He's had a fine year. He hasn't been good. He hasn't been. I asked my dad this the other day at the game. I can't think.
I think he's hitting like 207, but he's got like 25 home runs, maybe.
Yeah,
and 50 plus RBIs. So he's been productive offensively, just not consistent. But he's been on fire. Okay, so this is what I asked my dad. I said, "Would you rather? Who would you rather?" I'm just going to read you
and obviously you know a little bit about it because you
Yeah.
know Cal. But if I went to you and read this and I said, would you rather have this player or the other player?
Okay.
This is the first player, batting .284, 8 home runs, 52 RBIs, 25-year-old catcher. Okay, that's the first one. The second one, obviously, is, as you know, is Cal Raleigh. 209, 20 home runs, 61 RBIs, 27-year-old. Who would you rather have?
Well, how long has that other guy been in the bigs?
Long enough.
So more than 1 year.
Yeah, two or 3 years. He's been a backup, but now he's been catching a lot more.
So
this
he's
year.
technically
he's
younger.
He's a player.
He's hitting 284.
Mm-hmm.
It depends on your
8
team
home runs
because it depends.
I don't
on what
care
you're
about the team.
looking
I
for.
want to know who you'd rather have. It doesn't matter the team.
Well, it depends on what you need out of your catcher, though. If you need that power, or if you need a power bat, that's Cal Raleigh. Honestly,
doesn't matter. Who do you want? Who would you rather have? Who do you think?
And it depends on their defensive.
Who do you think is a better?
It depends on the defensive metrics.
They're about the same. Cal Raleigh probably is a little bit better.
That's tough. I mean, you can look at average, but it depends on is their on base percentage close?
No.
I don't know. I would tend to lean towards Cal Raleigh.
Okay.
But I would be like 52% Cal Raleigh.
Okay.
48%.
I picked Yonder Diaz.
Yeah. So
I think Yonder Diaz is not going to hit as high. Their on base percentage is closer. I was trying to just make that not a point for you to think about. But again, I get the excuse catchers can't hit anymore. Blah, blah, blah. Yonder Diaz is hitting 284.
Yeah.
The catchers can hit. He's not hitting for power. But he also and I agree with you. He doesn't need to. You have Yonder. When you have Alvarez, you have all these other guys. Obviously Altuve can still hit for power. Bregman's still power. You have all these guys. I get it. You surrounded him well. But yeah, but again, even at 209, 20, it's like 20 home runs is not I get it. I'm with you. I understand that. Yes, he is more likely to hit home runs and to do things like that. That's awesome. But I need someone to get on base. Even like Pete Alonso to me, right now, power hitter. He's got 19 home runs. He's tied for 16th. That's fine. Cal's got tied for 13th. That's fine. That's not even a power hitter.
I don't know.
And so I love Cal. I think Cal's great. But if you were to look at me and someone was to offer you, a couple young prospects and stuff for Cal Raleigh, I'm listening. There's no reason I'm not. You have Harry Ford in the minors, who's supposed to be a way better hitter. Obviously, can now play the outfield, can play third and play first and catch. He's younger. Interesting. I get it. It's just I feel like Seattle we get so attached to so many players. Julio's the greatest thing to ever walk this planet. Ichiro he is by far the best player of all time. Ken Griffey Jr. no one even is close. I'm like, hey guys, now if you take a step back. Yes, Ichiro is probably the second or third best international player ever. You have Albert Pujols. You probably have some other guys that are obviously Ohtani's probably better than Ichiro now. You have some players like that. Ken Griffey Jr. is probably a top 10 baseball player of all time. If he didn't get injured, he'd probably be in the top 5. You have to look at it. Cal Raleigh's a great catcher, but if someone's going to offer you something for him, you have to start listening. And I get frustrated because people always keep going, Cal Raleigh's fired up. He's mad at the organization. But I get it. We're all mad at the organization. It's not going to change. So you have to,
I think if it's the right deal, honestly, we don't have enough offense that we can't not listen.
That's what I mean. And
you have to do something.
And to me, if you don't make the playoffs this year, I think you blow it up. I think you have to blow it up.
Yeah.
I think Castillo is on the chopping block. Not like chopping block's a bad thing. Cal Raleigh's going to be, you're going to pick up the phone calls for him. You're going to pick him up for JP. You're going to pick him up for Castillo. The only people I think that are safe are Julio, Gilbert, and Kirby. I think you listen to Miller. I think you listen to Wu. I think you listen to Hancock. I think you listen to Ford, Young, every single one of the minors. You listen. You have to do a better job of building a team, especially when your top 5 players are supposed to be your only good ones. You brought Josh. Josh, and I love Josh Rojas. He's probably been our most consistent player all year. But you brought Josh Rojas to be our third baseman. Before this season, I don't think he played third base for the Diamondbacks very much.
Really.
He was much more of a second baseman. It's frustrating to me because you look at players like this where, yes, Ty France, that's so sad. I think Ty France is a great guy. He probably has, like you said, great clubhouse presence. But again, you brought back Mitch Haniger. Whoop-de-doo.
Honestly, I feel like that trade, I like Haniger, but it was honestly, in my opinion, it was just a swap salaries.
It was a salary dump.
It wasn't. I mean,
And, like, I don't even know if Robbie Ray's
love
pitched
Robbie
yet.
Ray,
I don't even think he's pitched.
He hasn't. He's coming back soon. But I mean, and like you think earlier, because we were supposed to platoon with Luis Arias.
Oh yeah, that's right. He's still even around.
And then
is he injured?
Josh Rojas. No, he's on the freaking Reds, or we cut him. I don't even know. Or I think he's in the minors still. But we traded Isaiah Campbell, like a solid guy.
Yeah,
for someone that's done nothing.
He had one good year with Milwaukee.
Yeah,
and that's it.
I mean,
and I agree. And
Campbell's been pretty bad this
obviously,
year.
Yeah, and like obviously, do you think Caballero is going to be good? Did you think that
trade I'm fine with?
Well, sure,
I think Luke.
Yeah, I'm okay with
that's
that.
A good trade.
But I'm just saying, like like I've said,
yeah,
and I'll preach this to my Dave, who's on Oakland, their second baseman. No, Toro.
Oh, Abraham Toro. Yeah, I gotcha.
Toro was traded from the Astros or picked up wherever he was, and he was in the Astros like farm system was like a top 10. Like he's supposed to be good. Why wasn't he good on the Mariners? Why does everyone go, oh, it sucks because every Mariner we get leaves and becomes good? I don't think he's playing like extremely well this whole season, but he's been fine enough.
I'm curious because I'm going to look at how many games he actually played with us. Because I tend to agree with what you're saying.
Because we don't, like, especially Scott does not give people consistent time unless they are legitimate players.
I mean, so I don't know how this all worked out, but when he came to the Mariners in 2021, so this is like halfway through the season, played 60 games. So did decent, hit like 250.
I'm pretty sure we traded because someone got injured too.
Something. I think,
well, no, it was Wong. Colton Wong.
No, that was different.
23?
That was different,
So it was Frazier.
No, that was even before. It was before Frazier. It was the year before Frazier because it was.
Well, that's too many years back.
Because Toro was on our team in 2020 and 21 and 22.
Okay, so that was 21. So 22 was Frazier's year. Okay, yeah, I'm with you.
So, 21 played 60 games. So not, I mean, whatever. That was fine. But then 22, he did play 109. So he did play, but he hit 105 or 185.
185.
So abysmal. But I'd be curious to know if I could. I don't know if I can find it. How many games he actually started? Because I guarantee you, this is the same like Dylan.
Yeah,
Moore.
I was gonna say
Dylan Moore doesn't see the same amount of games,
pitches, and everything
as everybody else does.
Yeah, so I'm with you on that. I don't know. I don't know. And so I get frustrated. I think more with like, if we don't make the playoffs this year, Scott has to go first off. Like that's number one, and then after that, you have to start making trades. Like, and I think you cash in. Castillo's had a good year. Cash in. Go get something for him. You still have, even if you keep the other four, that's probably still the best.
Decent in the offseason, you're fine.
Yeah, probably still the best. One of the best rotations with just Kirby, Gilbert, Miller, and Wu.
Yeah.
And then if you throw Hancock or you throw one of the young guys in or whatever.
And honestly, you only need 3 starters in the playoffs.
Well, you don't think that far, man. Now you're really starting to think like a Mariner.
There,
yeah, 100%. Like I agree with you, but I'm just saying, like, to me, you cash in on some of these guys.
Yeah.
Castillo's had a good, like, again, he's on a big contract. You guys don't like to spend money. Trade him to the Yankees for someone young. Maybe even in the offseason, if Juan Soto, maybe that's what they're trying to gear up to do. If Juan Soto doesn't re-sign with the Yankees,
I could only hope.
That would be crazy. He's a good friend of Julio, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. It's so frustrating to watch this team because if they are willing to spend another $10 to $20 million, they could literally have a World Series team.
Yep.
And it's not that, in all honesty, yes, $10, $20 million is a lot of money to everyone.
Not for them.
For baseball terms and sports terms, that is pocket change. So, I don't know. They're frustrating.
Yeah. That's pretty much all I had for the Mariners.
Yeah, they're just
sad, depressing.
They make me mad. Every day of the week, they make me mad. They need to win tonight. They have to win. They play the Angels. They have to win.
Oh, we already lost a series to them once. We can do it again.
Yeah, but we were on the road, and we're supposed to be so good at home, and then we get blown out by the Astros.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening to the Kind of Athletic podcast. Be sure to follow us on all of our socials and come back next week for next week's episodes.